So earlier today, I made a video talking about the NBA playoffs and how it's been consisting of a lot of great teams battling it out to make it to the second round of the playoffs, and how there's been multiple teams with great accolades and achievements, and just out of the nowhere, Brown series happening where amazing things were happening, including the Orlando Magic versus Pistons, two underrated teams, underdogs that have just been really just no one pays attention to or takes serious as contenders, are going into the second round of the playoffs. The 76ers beating the Celtics for the first time since the 80s, and actually beating them for the first time, or Joel Embiid beating them in a Game 7 for the first time ever. A lot of great things are happening. LeBron beating Houston without Luka or Austin, and Spurs obviously getting into the second round, beating whoever they were playing. I forgot, for the first time, or not for the first time, but for the first time in a while, or at least I think getting to that far since 2017. So it's just a lot of teams doing well, getting far. And one of the recent games being, as I was just mentioning, the 76ers versus Celtics game, which was a very interesting series. I'm not going to lie. As someone that does root for the 76ers, I counted them out. I'm not going to lie. They look very good, and the 76ers always look like they're in great shape, and they always have the potential to get far in the playoffs, but they always just kind of choke when the lights shine too bright. And so unfortunately, that team has always fallen short to the Celtics. And so with their recent beating, one of their their players, Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics, went on live not even 24 hours after the Celtics lost to the 76ers, and it's hilarious. I've never seen this before, where a player loses badly to the other team and live streams and complains and cries about it. It's funny. This is something I think Kobe would look down on. I don't even think that I don't think I've ever heard of this happening, where a player gets completely shitted on and then goes live to explain himself. Like, I think Flight Reacts has more dignity at this point than Jaylen Brown. The fact that he's went live to explain and give like a post-game interview, or a post-game commentary about how things went off, but it just mostly catered to him complaining about the series and Joel Embiid for the most part. He talked about how Joel Embiid is, of course, a great player, but he flops around a lot, and he even knows that, and the refs reward that. And he even said that it's even more of a bigger issue outside of just Joel Embiid, that this is the league that we're in. And it's very ironic coming from someone who very pretty much shoves a lot. He's very much push off type of player, and he's just not the type of person to, I believe, that can just sit here and say that, oh, it's because of this, it's because of it's the ref's fault, oh, it's because he's flopping. The Celtics were up 3-1, mind you, before the 76ers caught up. The Celtics were up 3-1. For the last fucking 4 or 5 decades, we have just thrown the 76ers under the rug as people who, or as an organization who will never get past the second round, or as an organization who won't get past the Celtics. 3-1. And they came back. 3-2, 3-3, 3-4. And Jaylen Brown goes on live to complain about Joel Embiid and the refs, mostly complaining about how this league has kind of rewarded that, and that's kind of the style going in today's game. While I agree that that is somewhat of a problem, I will say with like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, sometimes with two of my favorite players, James Harden, Joel Embiid, sometimes they've had spurts where it's just kind of obnoxious, but at the same time, you got to realize that rules are rules, and certain things really are just fouls, and certain players are just very good at drawing those fouls. If it's unethical, listen, play better defense. I've seen players that are great at drawing fouls equally get countered so bad to where they can't even really draw any fouls. And so it's a countered style, but for players who can consistently do it, of course they're going to get a lot of hate. And so Joel Embiid is one of those players, along with like James Harden and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as players who were just consistent at drawing fouls and getting to the line, and almost to the point where it's obnoxious. And I can understand where Jaylen Brown's getting at, where it's like, okay, yeah, like flopping is a serious issue. Like, players do get fined and have been fined for flopping and doing very obnoxious and very obscure flopping and flops where it's just super obvious. And so I think we're getting and I understand where he's getting at, where it's becoming more normalized. So I understand from that perspective what he means, where it's like it's just kind of unnecessary that the refs are kind of continuously blowing the whistle for plays like this instead of just letting the game go on. Like, let them do their bullshit and let them actually play through and actually have good offense, be their running point to a series-ending victory instead of just flopping around. So I understand what Jaylen Brown's getting from or coming from. It's just that the message doesn't come off right because not even 24 hours after the Celtics lost a 3-1 series lead, he goes on to complain about Joel Embiid and the refs. It's weird. I never struck Jaylen Brown being the type of person or type of player to do that. You know, like especially the way that he says it. It's honestly when I saw this on Instagram, I saw it like it was an out of context video where they had the quote of him saying it, and I honestly thought it was AI. He generally goes from how he even segues his complaining. It's so funny. And I even thought it was AI. I was like, there's no way Jaylen Brown just says this. And this isn't an exact quote. This isn't verbatim, but he basically says that Joel Embiid is a great all-around player. We didn't have really much answers for him tonight, but he flops around a lot, and I think the refs reward him for that. It's like, what? It's very weird segue. He went from saying, because he was kind of hypocritical because he not even early on in the series says that the 76ers played better basketball without Joel Embiid on the floor. Yet he even said it himself that they couldn't find an answer for Joel Embiid and his play style. And I don't know, it's funny, it's weird, it's sad, it's kind of pathetic almost because Jaylen Brown is a multimillionaire who is making millions from this sport, and he's complaining, he's crying, while his coach is sitting there like, yeah, it is what it is. We lose. I feel good for these guys. I think they're nothing less of them just being contenders, and that just sometimes we weren't doing the best. We didn't make that many threes. We were under 30%. The other team were over 30%. So we just got to do some things over here. We gotta adapt. We gotta change. We gotta make things better. Joe Mazzulla, whatever his name was, I actually really do like him as a coach because he's very firm and very bold with how he handles himself and how he portrays his message, especially how he wants, like how he answers things and how he plays or how he coaches. It's very admirable, and especially because I know he's a man of faith and he very tries to portray that very hard, and he's just like he doesn't let the games and the interviewers and all that really crush him in. It's more of just like, at the end of this, we're men of God and we're just trying to be better. And so I appreciate Joe Mazzulla as a coach, and especially how he handles it from a PR's perspective. You might need to teach Jaylen Brown how to do that, because this man genuinely just went on a live stream, not even 24 hours after being blown out from having a 3-1 lead in series, to complaining. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't even know how to comment on that other than it's just fucking wild. Like an NBA player, multi-millionaire, whose life is dedicated to being physically adapted to being able to be at the top level with the elite of elites, is complaining about the refs and flopping. This whole league, not only, and I know he elaborated that it's not just a Joel Embiid issue, but everyone has their niche of doing things that's somewhat out of the rule book, whether that's flopping, pushing, shoving off. It's so not a good look, and it definitely, if I was Joe Mazzulla, I'd be like, what the fuck? Why are you going on live stream to complain? Bro, get in the gym. Get ready for next fucking season, my guy. So, I get it. It is what it is. You gotta cope with whatever the situation is. You gotta cope. Gotta drink that copium. So, yeah, I just thought it was funny. I wanted to talk about it because I saw it earlier today. I had just made the video, and I just made the video, and then not even a couple hours later, I saw that video where Jaylen Brown was just complaining, and I thought it was super funny. I thought, not because I was laughing my ass off, I actually thought it was an AI video. That's how bad it's getting, to where I thought that was AI that midway cut his sense off, because he had it good at first, he was handling it very good from a PR point. I was like, Joe Mazzulla first was like, okay, he's good answer, so far, right? He was going off Joel Embiid's a good player, we just didn't have an answer to him. immediately to just he's a flopper and that the refs reward him for that. What? Where, why, where did this come from? And like, how is this like you're gonna say this? And so it's sad, but you know, as Jaylen Brown, I guess. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.